All right, everybody. This one is for my fellow Michigan deer hunters out there. So, for those of you, if you don't know, I live in Southwest Michigan. I live in Kalamazoo County. I hunt Kalamazoo, Van Buren, Cass, St. Joe counties. I've hunted Berry County. Most of my life, I have hunted Southwest Michigan. I have also hunted the northern lower in Gaylord. We had a family cabin up there for a long time. And then I've hunted the UP in the Keweenaw Peninsula. I went to school at Michigan Tech, so I hunted the UP for 4.5 years. And this time of year, and throughout the whole year, but Michigan kind of always has the debate of should we do something different? Should we do statewide APRs? Should we go to one buck? I think both have positives and negatives. Both have valid arguments for positives and negatives. And the people that simply say, I don't want you to tell me what I can and can't shoot. I just want to be able to shoot whatever buck it is that I want. That makes me happy. And I get that. I get all sides of it. Um, and that's what makes it tough. That Michigan is like rich in the tradition of hunting, and it's rich in the tradition of like every buck is a trophy. And you know there's a lot of people that are okay with continuing to shoot, just shoot whatever buck they want. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have seen, and I've hunted other states where the experience is really cool when you hunt places, other states, or you hunt areas of Michigan that have a better age structure. I've never hunted anywhere in Michigan that is close to like in Iowa or in Ohio. I have hunted Ohio or Kansas or Illinois or like those type of states. I haven't found a place like that in Michigan, but I know they exist. Um, there are some really good pockets in Michigan that produce awesome bucks. And I do truly think, especially like zone one of Michigan, the southern half of the lower peninsula, just with its mix of agriculture, its mix of hardwoods, its mix of swamp, like it's got it all. It could be one of the best areas of hunting in the whole country. I really do believe that. And that's not to take away from you guys in the northern lower or you guys in the UP. You just have to deal with more. You've got to deal with harsher winters. You've got to deal with more predators, lower deer densities, less agriculture, less, you know, poorer soil quality. Like there's just different challenges. So I know Michigan is different in its different areas, but the debate of like the APRs versus the one buck and how we nobody ever seems to kind of get to a area where people are happy and change happens. My buddies and I at the lunch table, like we debate this quite a bit as far as what could Michigan do? Like how could we do this where more people are happy than the current state of APRs versus one buck versus do nothing. So we've got kind of an off the wall idea. I don't remember which one of my buddies like kind of first like spawned this idea, but I want to throw it out there to you guys because I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. And there's a lot that's obviously unvetted. This is just a bunch of guys at the lunch table talking hunting. That idea is you keep the current license structure, current APR structure exactly the same. You keep it just as it is. But every so many years, I don't know how many, and I'll kind of explain like the scenarios here, but every so many years, and this, I guess I should preface and say too, this might be more for like zone one with like the higher deer density areas. I think you would have to break this up into zones. But every so many years, you do full season does only. So thought process behind that, and I looked at the numbers and I'll probably say them wrong off the top of my head, but 2024, Michigan actually did a pretty good job of being very close to 1-to-1 buck to doe harvest, at least as far as what was reported. So I think it was like one, was it like 153, 153,000 bucks and 147,000 does or something. It was basically, the number was almost 300,000, and it was very close to 50-50. I'm probably saying them wrong, but it doesn't really matter. So that's not bad. But historically, our buck to doe ratio has not been great. And there's portions of Michigan, especially where I live. Granted, we just went through EHD, so I know the subsequent years here, this year and a few years following, will be a bit of a rebound. But historically, Southwest Michigan or the southern half of the Lower Peninsula, it's pretty high deer density. So like the DNR wants deer shot. Like, we've got very liberal hunting seasons. We're now extending late doe seasons and things like that, just to try to knock the herd numbers down in a lot of areas. And I know that's very different in places like the UP, where there's just extremely low deer densities, and it's like the opposite. Like, we want to encourage uh, higher deer numbers. So I get that it's different all over, but this kind of idea is centered around, Southwest Michigan, maybe just the Lower Peninsula. But our thought is that if everybody in a, you know large portion of Michigan, especially the high deer density stuff, took a year off of shooting bucks, what our thought is that that would do is, all the people, at least I think, that are still, that shoot does, all the people that, whatever it is, that group of people that shoot does, they are probably still gonna shoot does. Like, they're gonna be okay shooting antlerless deer throughout the entire season. Portion of buck hunters, I think there's a lot that'll be pissed off, might not hunt at all, but a portion of that will get on board, and that doe harvest number might be like, I don't know, let's just say it's 50% of the 2024 buck harvest. So if you've got 140,000 does killed, you're gonna, shoot another 75,000. You're not going to be quite there as far as like total deer harvested, but you're going to be somewhat close. But what that is going to do, with the exception of deer getting hit on the road, the people that are poaching, they're still going to poach. I feel like it's a small percentage of people or bucks that are going to be killed by either people breaking the law or just motor vehicle accidents. But you're going to advance an entire buck herd. So you're going to move the entire age group up. And even though people might be pissed off year one of this implementing, I think the following year they are going to see, holy crap, look at how this has changed, even in just 1 year. Even just letting an entire buck age class advance one whole year. All those spikes and forks and 6-pointers we were chasing forever at our camp are now 2.5-year-old, 8s, maybe 10s, bigger 6s. Those few 2.5-year-olds that we had that everybody dreamed about, man, they've moved up to 3.5s. Or the guys that are able to get bucks to 3.5 that advance to 4.5. And then just knowing that everybody is passing bucks, it just seems like something that maybe it could work. Then the part that I don't know, so I'm just going to throw some stuff out there, is you're probably going to have a really big buck harvest the next year because people are going to be jacked up. There's going to be a lot more bucks, and you're probably going to kill more than you normally do. The DNR would have to be pretty dynamic in monitoring this, but trying to set a like level, I don't know what you would call it, like cadence to when this doe only season happens. In that, let's just say, and I don't know the numbers, but let's just say the current buck to doe ratio is, I don't know, 8 to 1. We take a break, we shoot just does for a year, and we move the buck to doe ratio to, I don't know, 5 to 1. How many years does it take to get back to 8 to 1? Like, if this right now, if Michigan's current state is kind of like the baseline, how many years does it take to get back to this exact same baseline? That is how many years then the doe only whole season would happen. So I don't know. I kind of imagine it as like every, and this might even be conservative, like you might have a few years of like flatline, but like every fifth year, that would make it really easy. Something like that. Every fourth year, I don't know. But what I think would happen, or what I would be hopeful would happen, is that when people experience 1 year of a whole buck age class moving forward, they would then see how passing younger bucks is a benefit. I think those years, those every fifth year, fourth year, whatever it is for the first little bit, would be fantastic for Michigan's economy. Like, Michigan is not a destination state for deer hunting. Not many people buy out of state licenses. People want to go to Ohio, they want to go to Kansas, they want to go to Iowa, they want to go to all those states that have, you know, more emphasis on shooting more mature bucks. But there's no reason Michigan can't be in that same boat. And I think after seeing even maybe and hopefully 1 year of an advanced age class, people might start to get more selective. Where the people that have been pushing, um, letting younger bucks go, I think that group might grow and might continue to grow, especially knowing that everybody is in the same boat, or a portion of Michigan, everybody is in the same boat. I think that also is advantageous where you're not then like strategically trying to figure out when you should or shouldn't shoot does, right? Like, sometimes the early season is tough because it's freaking hot. Sometimes the late season is tough because it's hard to tell a button buck from a doe, and it there could be shed bucks, especially with how late our antlerless season goes. Um, you don't have to worry about that. Nobody's shooting bucks. Like, you can just hunt and just shoot does. Like, even if you're in some of your better spots, or even if it's during the rut, even if you booger a buck, like, you're going to have an entire year. Everyone is going to have an entire year for that buck to kind of calm down, chill out. So, like, you're not going to be questioning, should I shoot this doe? Man, I really don't want to blow out this bedding area. This is a great opportunity to shoot a mature doe, but I'm in a spot that I really don't want to have to, whatever, mess up, get a bunch of scent on the ground, that kind of kick stuff out, that kind of stuff. Like, it alleviates that. So it's kind of an off the wall idea. But I think if Michigan wanted to change, if Michigan really wanted to reduce deer numbers, and do that strategically in zones that need reduced deer numbers, but also try to figure out a way to advance our buck to doe, like have a better buck to doe ratio and have more mature bucks, and make Michigan more of a destination state, making it more of a destination state, boosting economy in, deer hunting, rural communities. I, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It's an off the wall idea, but I feel like we spin our wheels all the time with just the APRs versus 1 buck, and we don't really get anywhere. So I think it's time to maybe start thinking outside of the box and being just smart and dynamic about the situation with known deer densities and populations, and how it's very different throughout the entire state of Michigan. But I think we could do something pretty cool. We would see the benefits of it, I think, very quickly in advancing a whole age structure year one. And I think you would see a lot of people, even though they might be pissed off during that doe only season, I think it would be a pretty big eye opener for them when they see a fully advanced age class. And if they don't, if you know, if you're one of the ones that's just like, look, I still just want to shoot whatever buck I want, hey, you, we haven't changed the license structure at all. You still can. You can still do the exact same thing that you've always done, and that's okay. If that's where you're at, that's okay. But let's try to knock the, you know, some of the antlerless deer back a little bit. Let's try to, you know, let's just try something different where maybe more people are happy and on board, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So that's kind of my off the wall idea for how Michigan could be more of a destination type of a state, and how we could do a little bit better job than what we currently do, and hopefully please more people with the quality of bucks that we have here in this state. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Be safe out there, you guys. God bless. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.